Hey everyone, it's Uncle Jonathan, and I am going to show you today. We're going to do a little experiment about packing out a deer. Now, I know I haven't made a lot of videos lately. Truth is, I've been too busy out in the woods trying to figure out what's going on and get a deer and to worry about camera equipment. But I'm getting there. I got these little lavalier mics, and I don't think it's working right now, but hopefully we'll have them all set to go here soon so we can do some more filming out in the field. So the good news is last Wednesday I got a deer. So it's my second deer ever. She was a doe. It was during muzzleloader season. And probably about a 70-yard shot, and it was a perfect shot. It didn't feel right, but I kind of felt rushed, but that's how it is hunting. And the hunting lords looked out for me, gods that looked out for me, and I made a great shot, 70 yards, open sights with my Hawkins style muzzleloader. I love muzzleloader week because this week was right before gun season started, and I'm able to get out there when it's still kind of quiet and everybody's guard is still down, and it was really really nice. So got her right in the aorta. It was a high heart shot, and she bled out, went maybe 15 feet, and she was dead within 10 seconds. It was very very quick, and the meat has been almost completely bled out before I even got it processed. So I'm going to pause. I'm going to put some pictures up right now and let you see what I did. So I've already got her, processed her, and she's been sitting in the fridge now for about a week. So let's talk about that because I'm about to debone her. That's going to be another video, but I'll give you a little bit of an idea of what's going on here. So the big problem is me and my buddy, who's much, much younger than me, had to drag her about a mile back to the car. And even a 60 or 70 pound doe starts feeling like the biggest weight you ever pulled in your life when you go up a couple of hills, and I'm in a hilly area, so I have to deal with a lot of terrain and stuff. Even though we didn't have to go through woods, my hamstrings and my legs and my back have been killing me, and his too ever since. I'm finally recovered, but it's still a long recovery time. It's a lot of work. Probably all in all, I shot her at 8:30, and I believe by the time I got her quartered and in the cooler, it was probably about 1:30, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So that's a significant amount of time that we spent. Most of that was probably about 2.5 hours of gutting her and then dragging her back to the vehicle. And then we took her nearby to a hunting camp where we could go ahead and process her. So that has me thinking I'm going to need, and this is important if you're on public land, because a lot of public land are not going to allow you to drive an ATV or even a vehicle or a truck uh, past a certain limit. And often you're going to be hunting, especially to get away from other hunters and to get to good spots between the bedding and where they're moving and going from food sources. I can easily hike a 3/4 of a mile. If you hit one and it runs, you could end up going another half a mile, and then you got a serious problem where you got a deer. You might have had one go down into an area that's not real accessible. You might have to. There's one area in particular that I hunt where if the deer's on a ridge and they're trapped on a ridge, but if for somehow they ever went down, I would have to go and exit about 400 yards to the west to find a road and then to walk up the road back to the vehicle, or send somebody to get the vehicle and have them meet me down there. Either way, I'm in for a bit of a walk. So the question is, how do you get a deer out if it's such a struggle? And last year, my first doe was about 80 pounds. I drug her about 200 yards, and I thought I was going to die then. So obviously, this is a problem that's ongoing. It wasn't a one off thing, and if I ever get that large buck, it's going to be a real problem. So I started putting out some feelers on the forums and stuff, asking people what they do and looking for solutions. And the most tantalizing thing was a cart. Well, I can't fit a cart in the trunk of my car right now. Secondly, a lot of people are saying these carts are useless once you get onto a hill or you get in a bad area, that they work fine on flat land, which isn't going to do me a lot of good. I even had a friend who offered me one. I had to decline it. One, it wouldn't fit. Two, I just didn't think I was going to use it. So that leads me to the next section about quartering there on the spot and packing them out, which is my best option because I can gut and quarter and skin a deer in probably about an hour, maybe an hour and a half if I'm taking my time and packing it out and getting back. And that's going to be a much, much shorter time than what I went through last week. So that brings me to, how do I get a deer packed out? Now, what I have been carrying for the last two and a half seasons is this. This is what's called I actually made another video about it. This is what's called a 3-day assault military style pack. It's if you go by unit measurements, it's going to be 40 liters. I really like it. I've used it for hiking and all kinds of stuff. It has real comfortable padding. It has straps that I don't usually use, but if I'm going on a long hike, I can bring it around my front, kind of help get the weight off the shoulders. And I've loaded this thing up. I'm a pack rat, and I've loaded this thing up just going a 3-hour hike with probably about 30, 35 pounds, and it's been great. But I don't think I'm going to fit a whole deer in here, and I'm definitely not going to fit a whole deer with all my stuff. So 40 liters, that's the volume that this will hold. You'll see these on Amazon all the time. 40 liter 3-day assault pack is what they're usually called. So the next solution that most people use, especially out west for elk hunters, are those frame backpacks that you see, big frame that the hikers use that are going on long hikes, where they can you can not only put your backpack on them, but you can attach all kinds of stuff. And so a lot of people will simply quarter their meat and attach it to that frame pack and then put their backpack and everything, they'll walk out. Again, if I was going 5-6 miles in the woods, I might like to use that, but I'm not going that far. I'm looking for more, probably 1 to 2 miles at the most. And I don't know if that frame backpack, it's a little bit of an investment for me right now. And I just don't like, especially in the dark, you go through the woods, it's something more backpackish works a little better, that's soft. Something with a frame, even when I'm carrying my my tree stand, the real problem with that is, it's getting caught on branches, it's noisy, it's a real pain in the butt, and it's really turned me off of using the tree stand in most circumstances, unless it's something just right close to the road. So I went on Amazon. What's bigger than this 40-pound 3-day pack? Well, your next option is a rucksack. And so this is a real cheap one. I ordered it last night, got delivered today, and the carrying capacity on this by volume is 100 liters. So that's what, 2.5 times what this other pack should do. And it's got some nice little, it's got a back pocket, it's got side pockets to put stuff. And even though I am a pack rat, I am starting to carry less and less with me. And it should have plenty of room for me to carry all my essentials and everything that I need to take, and still have plenty of room. We're hoping, and we're going to do this. I haven't tried this yet, so we're going to try this now and see if I can fit this quarter doe that's been aging in my fridge. It needs to be deboned tonight. So before I do that, I'm going to see if I can put her all into this pack and how much room is left over, if this will work. So let's go over here to the fridge. And I'm going to cover this in a deboning video again, but I like to take a thermometer. This is a cheap thermometer I had. Does body temp and object temp. So you can see like it's 70 degrees in here. So you can set it, and if you set it on your object temp, it will allow you to point at things. A lot of people use it, like maintenance men will use it, if they're checking your air conditioner or whatever. Make sure that you're blowing out cold air. So let's go here to the fridge. And one thing you want to do once you get once you get your meat in the fridge, don't judge my dirty, empty bachelor fridge here. But one thing you can do is you can take this thermometer, okay, and you can see there 39 degrees, which is a little perfect. I actually had it a little cooler, but I turned it back up because my cream and some of my stuff was starting to freeze. So in here we got the entire dough cut up. You put it in the bag. to keep the air from drying it out. So you can see she's in there, and so we're going to go ahead and pull her out. This is just how it was after I quartered her and processed her up. So nothing else has been done except draining her a little bit in the cooler for a couple of days, and then putting her in here for the last few days to let it age. And I'll talk about that in the deboning video that I do later. But right now we're going to try to just see if we can fit her into this rucksack. So let me grab my meat. And I probably got about 25, 35 pounds off of her. All right, let's swing back here. All right, they're sitting on the cabinet. Let's see here. Let's get this. And I like to use, at least for now, I can move this. So okay, so I like to use just regular old trash bags, unscented of course. So what we're going to do, right now everything's in one bag, but I'm going to take it out bag by bag. I don't want to make the rucksack all gross and nasty. So I'm just going to take, obviously the hindquarters are going to be my biggest pieces. So those are the pieces I really want to see how they're going to fit into the rucksack and how much room will be left over. So I'm going to do this just like if I was in the field and I'd already quartered it. Always give things a good smell check. So we can get a better angle of this. Alright, here we go. Alright. So, alright, here's one hind quarter. Like I said, I know game bags are a little sturdier, and you know, if it was, we were talking about a few days, I might feel differently. This bag wasn't very expensive. You can kind of see how it sits up there. Let me see if I should move back the camera a little bit. Get you a little bit better of an angle there. There we go. Okay, let's do that. Okay, let me get here's the other hind quarter. Again, I'm always smelling, and if you don't know what fresh meat smells like, just, you know, next time you open up a pack of ground beef or something, you know, smell that. But as long as you don't smell anything that smells offensive, sewage, anything gross, so you know you've done good. Oh, here's another hind quarter. Again, this is the second deer that I've ever harvested, and I am greatly looking forward to sharing her with friends. And I'll talk a little bit about why you age it, because so everything that I've seen and read is that you really want to give the enzymes enough time. Now with a younger, a lot of people say does taste better, and the younger doe, this one's maybe a year old, maybe a year and a half. But you got to give the connective tissue and enzymes a chance to break down before you really start trimming it and getting your finishing process. One of the things I'm reading is that the big mistake a lot of people make is they process their deer, throw it in the freezer, thaw it out, and then people are like, oh, this tastes gamey, this tastes tough. So there's a whole process involved before you ever freeze your deer that takes about a week. It can take longer. Some people age them, especially if it's a buck, some people age them 10, 11, even 14 days. All right, I'm feeling good We got plenty of room in there. Let's see if we can throw in a shoulder. Got both hindquarters are in there. Get a shoulder in here. All right, that's a nice shoulder there. Yep, it's looking good. And then I'm going to take this last shoulder. Then all it's going to be left are my back straps, my tenderloin, and some neck. And those can all go in one bag. They don't have any bones. That's probably the biggest thing to worry about is a bone poking through one of these bags. It's a little bit of a shoulder. This will be the side that we shot on, but so I'm just doing this to test. And you know, it's not like I'm going to use this bag for a gym bag or traveling on vacation. I think this bag was on sale for like not even $40, so that's a pretty good deal. And you know, I'm sure there's higher grade bags that you know are going to last a little longer, but you know, if I got to go through one of these bags every season or two, it's not going to be a big deal to me. One back strap. So we'll just throw them all in here. So we're just imagining the back strap and maybe a tenderloin. And here's all the rest of it. All right, that is all of it. Now, one thing we can do, we can also step on the scale and see what our yield is in a minute. But there we go. I'm not being as careful as I was at the beginning. And let me back up here. All right. So as you can see, the whole deer quartered is in here in this rucksack. So, let's see how this will work. Always want to find out how things are going to work at home before you go out there. So you can get this bag kind of doesn't really zip up or anything, just kind of I have not used one of these before. So maybe that's just kind of how you do it. Not too crazy about that, but as long as they're in a game bag, that's fine. Probably wouldn't hurt to have a little bit of air circulating, because if you think about it, it's going to be, the flesh is still going to be pretty warm. And I don't know, maybe there's something I'm missing about how a rucksack works. It doesn't look too complicated, but as you can see, I can carry out into the field. I got plenty of room to put things like my binoculars, water bottles. There's even side pockets here for things like my rangefinder. I can probably even rig up a way to put my rifle on it if I want to, but there's pockets. I think this has a pocket too. And so the thing you want to do is just kind of, you got this waist holder, and so you just kind of want to see what it's going to be like. That's easy peasy. Probably add about maybe 10 10 pounds with any gear I may have. And I don't even really need to buckle this, but I could walk miles like this. And I got my whole deer. You can see it. This is exactly how it would come out. Now, one thing I would do is probably find a way to attach the head. I'd probably just put the head in a bag. I like to drop the heads off for CWD testing just to make sure. It is probably going to become a problem in my area in the next few years. So I'll probably start, waiting until I get results back before I eat, unfortunately. But also, if I have to take a hide too, there's plenty of room for me to put the hide, plenty of room for me to put the head, and yeah, I could do this. And even if it was a larger deer, making 2 trips to do this, way easier than what I have been doing, than dragging a deer half a mile or 3/4 of a mile. It's just really not all that feasible, and it really kind of makes you wonder if it's even worth it once you get through it. But yeah, there we go. There's my rucksack. One thing I could do is probably even carry, my regular sack. I saw a girl do this once. She's about 5 foot tall. But you can actually do this, put on like this, and carry both packs out, if that's what you want to do, which isn't a bad idea. But this just gives me a whole bunch of options. There it is. It's all there. I don't need a frame pack for what I'm doing here. This is all good. $40 rucksack, quarter your deer, pack it out. Don't forget to keep proof of sex. So if you're hunting, an area that requires it on public land, then, if it's a male, obviously keep the penis and the testicles maybe attached to one hind quarter. But if you can't do it, just put it in a game bag, take it with you. Just explain you messed up, but here it is. If it's a female, keep the udders attached or keep the udders. And then obviously most places the head you might want to take if you want to drop it off. But if you aren't going to keep the head because it's a doe and you just don't have a use for it or you don't have to, then make sure you keep those udders around, because that will be your proof of sex in most circumstances. But always check with your local regulations. But there you go. We got a whole doe quartered into the rucksack. Boom!